Well, hello, everybody. Welcome back to Cocktails and Rocktails with me, your most notorious groupie, Alice Rouse, author of We've Got Tonight, The Life and Times of Notorious. You guys know, for those of you that don't know, these other books right here as well. Go down in that description, check out my merchandise, check out my books, and tell me what you think. They're kind of raw, they're kind of real, but as you can tell, guys, today is going to be a podcast episode, and it's going to be kind of an interesting one, but we'll explain that in a minute. As always, I like to start out by saying thank you so much to everybody here for all the love, all the support, everybody who's hanging out, who's just joining us, who's lurking, who's a member, who's another fellow groupie sister, or just sister, just friend, supportive, commenting, everybody here. Thank you so much for all the love and support. We are growing and growing, and I love it. Can't wait for what's going to happen this year. I'm shopping my book, as you know, so hopefully you guys cross your fingers. Maybe a series, maybe a movie, who knows? But something's got to happen, right? All right. Like I said, thank you so much, you guys. Lots of love and light to everybody. And like I said, today's going to be a podcast episode because we're going to discuss a series of pictures and not for what people think. We're going to discuss it because every groupie who's been around rock and roll at any certain point, seen the same band a couple of times, had a relationship with a musician, we all run into a situation like this. And how do you handle it? And this series of pictures happens to be just capturing this moment on film. It's one of the only ones that I can find. So it's not meant towards anybody, even though we all know I don't like one of the persons. But anyway, we are going to examine these pictures of Lori Maddox, Jimmy Page, and Pamela DeBarge. All right, and today we are going to finish up one of my cocktails, these little fresh fruity kind of drink cocktails. This one is a berry spritzer. You're supposed to put vodka in it, but the last one with the French martini and all that vodka, I decided to put a little champagne in this one because why not? It's a spritzer. It's supposed to bubble. It's supposed to be fresh. So we're going to give it a go. Here's a picture of it, you guys. Hope you enjoy it. So everybody, grab your spritzers, kick up your feet, and let's have a little cocktails and rocktails. Cheers, big ears. Okay, let's do this. Oh, that one is so much better. Okay, yeah. The champagne was definitely a better choice for this. No doubt whatsoever. So, yeah, I give that one definitely gonna swallow that over Kip Winger. I'll even take a fucking piece of this dried fruit and tickle it with my tongue a little bit. Okay, so we're gonna examine. First of all, I'm gonna show you the picture that kind of started this. So, in this picture, from left to right, you will see Rodney Bingenheimer, Jimmy Page, Pamela DeBarge, and Lori Maddox. Now, this picture, we're going to kind of discuss this last because it kind of, like I said, every groupie has been in this moment where she's either crossed bands with another musician that happens to be on the same tour as another one, or, wakes up next to John Entwistle and the girlfriend at home and all of his other lovely road wives. We're like, wait a minute, I thought it was just me. So our little privacies are all invaded. We've all been there, like I said. We've crossed paths. We've accidentally gone. This is why you do not just show up on the road with your rock star. Because you don't want to run into one of these situations. I mean, because look at the picture. It looks all innocent. It looks cool. Hey, we're capturing rock and roll. But oh no, we're capturing so much more than that. Because like I said, I keep it real. I'm going to get down in the trenches with this picture. Like I said, has nothing to do with my disdain for scammy Les Pars. Nothing to do with that. But like I said, this just happens to be a picture that captures this moment for every groupie. When we run across our rock star with another groupie, or our rock star runs across us with another musician, or you're seeing Glenn Tipton, and then John Entwistle dies next to you in bed, and they're friends and had played an album together. Yeah, that kind of stuff. That's what I'm talking about. Ladies who know, put your comments down in that, put your stories down in the comments because we've all been there. All right. So we're going to start off with this perfect little picture, of Jimmy and Lori. He's got his arms around her. So I don't know how the night started. Scammy says that Jimmy had told her to come meet him at Rodney Bingenheimer's or the Rainbow. And that's why she showed up. But Lori and Sable and everybody was there. And I think Sable was trying to make a play for Jimmy or Robert or something. Or Jimmy didn't want her and wanted Lori instead. Didn't want Pamela either. But anyway. So here they are. Look at them. Cute little couple, right? He's like, oh, I got me this chick. I've wanted her. And no comments about age and stuff because we're not talking about Jimmy and Lori as a couple. We're talking about this is this groupie and her rock star, you know, just hanging out, having a good time for the moment. Okay, because I don't condone. I was an underage groupie myself. I had a fake ID. I bamboozled these guys. Okay, so let's get that straight. I'm not telling anybody else's story. People are wrong for doing some things, and there are people that are wrong. But anyway, let's get beyond that. So anyway, okay, so here's Jimmy and Lori having a good time. She's got whatever furry on. She's looking pretty. She was such a pretty girl at that age. She was just so fresh and young. Attractive girl. Here's Jimmy Page, young, English rock star, you know, Led Zeppelin, biggest band in the world at the time, next to the Stones. Lovely night at the Rainbow. They're chatting up, and she's like, oh, I don't know if I should be with him because my friend Sable might be angry with me. Oh, little did she know what was to come. So, okay. So let me go to this next picture. Give me a second. So they're looking all happy, dandy, whatever, you know. And all of a sudden, here she comes. And we'll go to the main picture that I started out the thingy with. Oh, but here's this one. And okay, so now here's a different version of this picture of Lori and Jimmy together. Is that Pamela in the background? Oh, wait a minute. And Rodney Bingenheimer, the look on his face, he smells something. He knows what's up. He's seeing this crossing of the paths that usually are kept very parallel and away from each other. So here they are. He's got his arm around her. And if you look at the corner right, you see these arms folded with a white halter top. Well, what's happening there? You know, Jimmy's not paying attention to what's behind him. Rodney might have seen it because that look on his face is like, oh shit, what am I going to have to handle now? Lori's just like more worried about Sable, but oh my God, it's Jimmy Page, right? So, but then, like I said, if you look to the right of the picture, you see someone with their arms crossed. And I could see this walking up as the groupie that was with him before and expecting to be with him again. You're walking up and you see this and you're like, excuse me, skizzies, hold on. And that's exactly what's happening here. So, okay, that's the other version. Okay, I'm just sliding through a couple. So then, all of a sudden, I'm sure there was a tap, tap, tap. Not the kind that I gave Bret Michaels or Jonathan from Korn. But a tap on the shoulder and like, hi, Jimmy. And here she is. She's looking up at him, smiling, thinking, yeah, this is the guy that I've connected with, that I've been with before on the last tour. I'm so excited to see him. I've made this dress. It's not a great dress. I can see why she sells other people's vintage clothing and not her own. Because it's basic and kind of, you know, not made very well. Anyway, so she's like, hi, Jimmy. And he looks over. He's like, oh, let's pretend we're taking the picture with Rodney Bingenheimer. Hey, Rodney. Hey, what's going on? What's going on? He's kind of pulling away from her. And he's got his elbow up, kind of like making a distance. And she's just like, hey, what are you doing? And she's just going on her merry way. In rock and roll, we call what Pamela's doing cock blocking. And you can tell because if you look to the right of the picture, you see Lori going, what the fuck? What is she doing here? And maybe Sable's over there and she's like, but I wasn't going after him. But I think it's more, what the fuck is she doing here? And like I said, every one of his groupies has had this moment. When James was on tour, I believe it was the Injustice tour, he was seeing a married blonde, that chick with the blonde, and I've said this publicly, that is not me on James's lap, the picture with the chick with the blonde hair. That was a married woman from Texas that he was kind of doing a little diddly. And her husband went out of the country or something, or she was saying she was going to Vegas with friends, but she decided to show up in Salt Lake City with Metallica. We'll talk about that another time. That's for book 2. I woke up with them the next morning. Don't worry. But that was kind of, you don't want, just like you have to keep your groupie separate. groupies have to keep their rockers separate. You know, we don't want them to cross paths because we're also in our own little moment with them at that moment in time, and no one else matters when you are with them. Nothing. It's just you and him. You're his woman. He's your man. Whether it's the day, whether it's 2 weeks, whether it's the whole tour, whether it's a month, whether it's 13 years when you cross paths. You know what I mean? So to see this picture, I can see the body language very good. Rodney's like, all right, I'm going to throw off my jacket. And if I've got to tear people apart, I'm ready to do this. I've torn them apart before. And Jimmy's like, no, mate, I'll handle it. Watch this. I'm going to tell Pamela to meet me in the back parking lot at the Rainbow. She'll do it. She no, I'll handle it. It's cool. And like I said, Jimmy's got his elbow up. He's smiling. He's keeping Pamela at a distance. And Lori's like, what the fuck? This is not supposed to be happening. So then we have this picture of Jimmy and Pamela looking at each other. Hold on, I'm scrolling through. Where did it go? You guys are seeing it right now, but I'm just scrolling through. Oh, there it is. So here's this one of Jimmy and Pamela. This kind of tells me what's about to happen. You know, I think that Pamela says she was too old for him. Honestly, from what I understood, he just grew tired of her. He was bored. And that's Jimmy. You know, he likes to keep things fresh. And I don't think it had to do with her age, because she was 21 and he not 30 yet, you know. But anyway, so in this picture, here she is. Things are looking a little bit more uncomfortable. Jimmy's kind of not doing the big smile. He's still not got his arm around her or trying to like make a fresh move on her or be like, good to see you. I don't think he hugged her. And you can tell Pamela can see something's up. And I think that Lori had walked off and was probably talking to Sable and Robert. You know that picture where everybody's at the Rainbow with Peter Grant and they're all sitting in the booth and Robert's looking up at Sable like, what? But so anyway, and I think that's what Pamela is actually looking at. I think Pamela's looking off to Lori thinking, huh, what is he doing with her? And of course, she's questioning the age and stuff like that. Like I said, I know that look because when I walked in the bar and saw the blonde girl and James kind of was sitting next to her before, and I haven't talked about this, but anyway, I had that same look. I'm like, huh, what's going on? But James got up and came right to me. So, but I don't think Jimmy did that in this picture. He doesn't have that big smile, that sweet feeling. You can tell in the picture with him and Lori that was just taken minutes before this one, that he's like happy to be with Lori. He's, you know, here's this musician happy to be with this groupie that he likes, he's getting along with, he wants to get to know better. He's all kind of smiles, he's cuddly, he's got her close up to him. Now in this picture, like I said, there's no bodily contact right there. And she's looking off. She's uncomfortable. She knows something is going up. Her groupie instincts are radaring off the fucking hook to nuclear at the moment. Like, she knows this is it. This is done. But maybe there's still hope, you know, because we all have hope. Whether it's with our musicians or in a regular relationship, we want to have hope that we can still maintain that feeling that we had with them before. Well, not so much that night, because when it comes down to it, that was the night that Jimmy told her to go wait in the parking lot and he would grab her. They would swing the limo around. Well, the limo never did get swung around and she knew it was over. And this picture totally says it all. Right there, the look on her face, she knows. But she still has hope because he was always nice to her before. You know what I mean? So, yeah, that's my take on all these pictures. And ladies, this is going to happen. If you're going to hang out to the extent that I did or that other groupies did in the 80s or other 70s ladies hung out, you know, if you're going to be hanging out in that world as your social circle, you better know how to juggle and you better have some thick-ass skin. Because, you know, it's not just about having to deal with the golden rule, which if you know what the golden rule is, you know how hard that is to deal with. But you've got to deal with this up and down of emotions and these sudden ends and being left for another woman or him getting married or, being left because they find out you were with another rock star that they either idolized or are friends with or stuff like that. These are the real emotions of a long-term rock and roll relationship. And I don't mean just with one musician. Like I've said before, I've juggled 6 or 7 at a time. I have had Dangerous Toys on tour with someone else, like maybe Def Leppard, I don't even think them, but was it Alice Cooper? But I knew somebody else from one of the other bands, and I was like, sorry, I had to tell him, because I ran into him at the hotel bar, and Scott doesn't drink, he never has, but we just always kind of met there. So I had to tell him I'm here, I chose Scott over this other person. Scott never knew that, but he does now. Hey, Scott. But so you come into these situations, and it's like I knew James that night with the blonde lady that, oh my God, and I was just a teenager. I was like 18 years old, maybe 19. So I was having to deal with this huge range of emotion that you don't deal with at that age that deeply and that suddenly. And this group of pictures kind of really conveys what's happening there, because it's not just, scammy Les Pars being ditched for Lori Maddox at all. It's something that every single one of his groupies have been through. And this just happened. These pictures just happened to capture the succession of that probably 15 minutes, if that, 10 minutes. And then next thing you know, one groupie realizes that that's done and over, and she was feeling bad. So Robert Plant, patted Pamela DeBar's on the back, and she says nowhere else, but I don't know if I believe that. But anyway, so, we all take care of each other out there. So you've got to, because Lord knows Ian Jeffries certainly kind of had to take me outside to smoke a joint, because I was like, that bitch needs to go. And James had to get rid of her. He had to tell her, listen, not a good idea to show up here. And I don't know if that was the situation that night with these pictures, but I know that's definitely, like I said, a situation that every groupie who has spent real time, real emotions, real friendships, real relationships, reality of the road family. This is what we have all experienced. And for all you TikTok chicks sitting at home pretending to be an 80s groupie, please. If you walked into a show like that, you would be a dime a dozen having to compete with older women, younger women. You would be seen as a novelty, and oh, how isn't she cute? Be individual, be something different. This is reality. It's not sitting there saying that, well, I could live it. I could. Well, you're not. And these are the realities. So that's why I kind of chose these pictures to do tonight, because I wanted people to realize that this succession of pictures is so much more. Like I said, I don't get on with Pamela DeBar's. I do not. That Almost Famous Muse bullshit was nothing to do with the 80s ladies. But I feel this picture. I've been the Lori. I've been the Pamela. I've been the Jimmy. And I've been the Rodney Bingenheimer trying to no. Like I've told the story of my friend Beauchet. She was seeing a roadie for Def Leppard and Kelly Nichols from LA Guns. LA Guns happened to be opening up for Def Leppard. Beauchet decided she was going to try and juggle them both in one night. So she went out to dinner with Kelly. She said she had to go pick a friend up at the airport. LA Guns was at the Holiday Inn. Def Leppard was at the Marriott. A bunch of us from Def Leppard happened to go down to LA Guns. We all went back to the Marriott. What happened? We walked down the hallway, and here comes Beauchet with the English roadie for Def Leppard out of their hotel room. And here's Kelly. Ooh, that was a moment in the hallway. Pretty much would have been very much like these pictures. So yeah, we've all been there, ladies. So tell me your stories down in the comments. Thank you, everybody, for getting through today's episode to the end with me. I hope you enjoyed it. I know I've been doing a lot of these podcast episodes, but I'm going to be doing more with interviews. I've got some lovely ladies. Our wonderful Melody, who was an Elvis lady. We've got more with Diana. I'm going to have Desiree back. I'm going to have a few other ladies you haven't heard of before, but are fucking rockin' ladies. So, you guys, if you are just lurking, please hit the share, hit the like, hit my bells. We are going to have a lot new things. Kristen and I are going to be doing the podcast this year. I'm starting to get everything together. So that's happening because as you know, as you might have noticed, I've changed the name from it to the channel from Cocktails and Rocktails with Allison Rouse to just Cocktails and Rocktails because we're going to change it into the podcast. So got a lot of cool stuff going on, you guys. So hit that. Ooh, and Patreon, it's gone. The end of January, it is gone. You guys, bring your memberships over here because it's just easier for me to keep it in one place. So, all right, you guys, thank you for tuning in this week. And like I said, excuse me, you guys, sorry. We have the dirtiest air in America in Salt Lake City. It's so disgusting and it's like really bad right now with the inversion. So my allergies are at an all-time shit show. Literally. No, not literally. Not like that. Oh, God, that sounded bad. But all right, hit the subscribe, hit the bells. We'll see you next time on Cocktails and Rocktails. Cheers, big ears.